I had just come back from Europe and Africa, and I still had that travel bug. I wasn't quite settled, so I really wanted a new experience. And so I found myself being interviewed by Marilyn in July of 1991, and in August, 30 years ago, almost to the month, I found myself jetting off to Costa Rica. Very nervous, very overwhelmed, and not knowing what I was going to get myself into, other than the fact that it was a new organization, a new biological station, starting from absolute scratch. First day that I arrived to the biological station, Marilyn and Ozzy and myself, we went into the village, and Marilyn, she arranged for a guide, a local guide, to take us out to see the sea turtles. And back then, as I say, the village was rather small, much smaller than it is today. And the guides didn't know English, so it was this exchange of broken English and broken Spanish. And yes, we did see a turtle. It was my first sea turtle, and it was magical. And I just knew, yeah, I feel good about this now. But the station, it was something else. It had nothing. I had a biology background, and I had a construction background as well. I was hired to develop the biological station, build the biological station, establish a trail network, host our first groups, dialogue with our partners in Costa Rica, the National Museum, for instance, who we began working with to establish the land bird monitoring program, the first of its kind in the area. There was a thatched roof kitchen, just a wood stove and a metal grill, a cast iron grill. So I cooked over a fire for the first year until we purchased a propane stove. We had an outhouse. We had the dormitory, a very small dormitory. We had a small dormitory, and people brought tents. So we didn't even have our own boat. We eventually had a boat made for us. And the dock was 2 or 3 planks of wood sticking out into Canuclama. My first group of students from the University of Toronto stood on it all together, and into the water they went. And of course, I built the first dock that we see more or less to this day. Pretty hard to prove yourself in the formative days in the first few months when we were just finding our footing ourselves, in all honesty. It was a challenge. I tried to integrate myself as best as possible and be a good ambassador for the organization and the biological station. I was not welcome initially, but I can tell you after 2 years, when I started thinking of moving on, a couple of locals, neighbors came up to me and they said, "You can't leave now, you're a Tico." It was special. It made me feel good. It's so far removed from the average person's experience living in a city. The sounds of the rainforest. I mean, it's just so foreign to most North American young students. It is probably the most enriching experience one could hope for. You're surrounded by the rainforest. This is an experience that people only see on TV, and they get to live it. And in this day and age, when we have more programs than we did at that time with the sea turtle monitoring, the land bird monitoring, large mammal monitoring, tremendous experience for a budding ecologist or biologist or conservationist. Like, it's priceless. You can't put a price tag on that type of experience.